So a very good morning to one and all present over here. So today is our third day of the FDP and session 6. So the first session of 2 days will be taken by Dr. Sanjay Kumar Panda, NIT Warangal. So already we introduced our speaker yesterday. So today he is going to deliver the talk on Amazon S3 using Quick Labs and IoT perspective. So I hope today we will learn something new. And now I am handing over the session to Dr. Sanjay Kumar Panda.
Thank you very much, sir. So my screen is visible now. My screen is visible now.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you. So good morning, everyone. In this talk, we'll discuss about Amazon S3. Amazon S3 is a storage cloud provided by the leading cloud service provider, that is Amazon, and S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. So, in using Amazon S3, you can store massive amount of data which is generated by IoT devices. Any data you want to store, any amount of data you want to store, you can subscribe Amazon S3, and it is also provided by the leading cloud service provider Amazon, so that any amount of data you want to store in the cloud, you can take help of Amazon S3. So in order to do some experimentation, or in order to see what are the internal functionality of Amazon S3 or any cloud service provider, most of the cloud service provider is providing a trial version, that is maybe up to 30 days or a 1 year trial version, or you can take the help of the very famous lab that is called as Quick Lab. Note that the spelling of quick is QWIK, not QUICK, right? It's a fancy name. So by using Quick Lab, you can do a set of experimentation regarding various cloud experiments, or you can say machine learning application, IoT application, artificial intelligence applications. QuickLab also provides the various features where you have to pay in order to use the service, but the price is nominal in comparison to the cloud service provider, right? So Amazon S3 is completely a free one provided by QuickLab, although there are different level of experiments are there in QuickLab, but introductory section today will discuss that introductory part is completely free in QuickLab. So whatever things I will do in my computer system, I request all of you to create an account in the QuickLab, and whatever things we will do, like I have planned to do 5 tasks in QuickLab, okay, which will subscribe Amazon S3, and we will do 5 set of experiments, so you will know what kind of data you can store, and what kind of security policies, what kind of versioning you can apply on the data whatever you have stored in Amazon S3. Okay, so basically we'll see any type of data you want to store in Amazon S3, how you are going to store, and how you will manage such data. That is the goal of today's talk. So this is my outline of today's presentation. So before going to this quick lab training, just I will introduce what is cloud IoT. Although Dr. Suraj Sarma in afternoon will go in depth about cloud IoT. So you know that the cloud is also a very prominent research area. Just we are combining two different words, that is cloud and IoT, right? So whether both technology is need to be merged, or whatever services provided by cloud can be used by the IoT devices, that we will see in the introductory level. Then I will introduce AWS IoT Core. AWS stands for your Amazon Web Service. Amazon provides a lot of services, and each and every services has a unique name. Like I want to discuss today about Amazon S3. It is a storage cloud. Similarly, Amazon provides another one that is called Amazon EC2, that is called as your Elastic Compute Cloud, which provide compute cloud. Similarly, a lot of services are provided by AWS Core. So I will tell you about AWS IoT Core. Under this AWS services, S3 or your EC2 is coming. Then I am expecting that today we will go for these 5 tasks. First, what we'll do, we'll create a bucket in Amazon S3. So bucket is nothing but a particular virtual machine. So you know that the cloud is relying on a virtualization technology in which you can create a virtual machine. So the virtual machine, in order to store any data or in order to compute something, cloud service provider is going to provide a virtual machine to the customer or the client or the user or the end user. Okay, so we'll see how to create a bucket in Amazon S3, what kind of features is there, or in which location you are going to create this bucket. Like you know that in all over the world, data center is deployed in various places. Okay, so Amazon divides the whole world into various regions. So in which region Amazon is giving this free bucket. Next we will see, once we create a particular bucket, then how we can insert an object into the bucket. Just in real life also we have a water bucket, right? And in that bucket we are filling water. So you can say whatever things you are keeping inside the bucket, that is treated as your object. That is object. So you can add as many number of possible object into the bucket. That is our second task. Third task, once you fix a bucket and once you fix an object, whether this object will be accessible to all the users or whether it is restricted to particular person, for that you require access permission. Whether it is public, whether it is private, whatever data you have stored, you have to decide whether to make it public or make it private. So we'll see how you can set permission on object. Next, just alternative of task 3, you can set the permissions or you can write a setup code where you can enforce some security policy to the bucket. That's why it is called as a bucket policy. We will generate the bucket policy, and this bucket policy is enforced to each and every individual object so that its permission can be specified. In the last part, we will see the versioning. Versioning is nothing but, you know that any software we are designing, there are a lot of versions are there. Like we saying version 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, like that. Whenever a major version is released, we are saying 3.0. Major version is 4.0, right? But if a minor change in that software happens, then we are giving different versioning number. But the idea of versioning is here. It may happen that the files, whatever you are uploading into Amazon S3, okay, whatever data you are keeping in Amazon S3, that is having different versions. Different versions. Version 1, version 2, version 3, like that, right? So Amazon always keeps the latest version. But sometimes what happens, there is some bug or some error in a particular version. So what we are doing, we are going to just one previous version. If it is 3.2, we are going for 3.1. That's why versioning is an important role. Another thing, suppose by mistake I have deleted some version, so whether I am able to restore that particular version or not, that will be, we will also see in the Amazon S3. So these are the set of 5 tasks what we are going to do in quick lab. But before that, I will take another 15 minutes to discuss about this IoT core and cloud IoT. So if you come to the IoT environment, you know the devices are very small, right? Like if you take a typical example, let us consider the smartwatch. In smartwatch, you are able to know the, suppose, the temperature of a particular place, or if you want to know, let's say, the various parameters related to a particular person, right? Heartbeat kind of things, right? So if such application we will process in cloud, it is generating the data, we will send the data to the cloud, cloud will process it, then cloud will again send the data to your smartwatch so that user can see the analysis. If we do that, the process will lead to high latency. High latency, high, everything if you want send to cloud, everybody relying on cloud, then what will happen? It will consume time. Okay, it will consume bandwidth as well. Even if you have a high bandwidth connection, but the way you are generating the data and cloud take time, and it will consume your bandwidth. So, what of respect only see that should not send to the cloud, whether it can be computed in a device or in another layer, which will properly utilize the bandwidth. Second one is called as processing. I told you nowadays whatever sensor devices are there, in addition to the, let's say, ADC, that is analog to digital converter, sensing unit, battery, so they are also having the processing unit, intelligent processing unit you can say. Earlier we have processing unit, now we have intelligent processing unit. So the device is that much powerful to execute its own work. If it is a small amount of work, it can execute the small work and it can show some result to the user, end user. That is your called as your processing. But it has a limitation. It has limited processing power, but still some normal calculation the device can do in IoT. But if you require high amount of processing, then what you will do? You have to rely on the cloud as well. Right? There is no other option. The only thing is that for small work, I should not depend upon the cloud. Similarly, with respect to memory, the memory, it is also each and every device is having a memory. So it can store small amount of data. If it want to store high amount of data or massive amount of data, then it has to go to again cloud. Come to energy. So if you go for sensor nodes specially, sensor nodes are having limited battery life. Within that battery life, if it is deployed in an unattended environment, or it is deployed in a deforested environment, okay, so the life period of the battery is very small. So what you have to do within that period of time, suppose it will sustain for 30 minutes or 1 hour, within that you have to sense the environment and send to the cloud, or send to the base station, or you send to the gateway. So as it is having a limited power, so within that restrictions, you are going to process your things. Next, if you see here, there is a we are introducing a third layer in between IoT devices and cloud. If you consider IoT devices are present in one layer, cloud is present in another layer. So in order to compensate that gap, like in computer network, we have studied something called flow control. Flow control says that if sender is sending the data in a faster rate, receiver is consuming in a slower rate. On the other hand, sender is sending in a slower rate, but receiver is receiving in a higher rate. So what will happen? These two devices are not able to capture their data or receive the data or sending the data. So in order to avoid that, we are using the flow control mechanism. Similarly, what we are doing, in between the cloud and IoT devices, we are introducing another layer that we call as fog layer, right? And IoT devices, they are present in a one layer that is always in many papers they are referred as a edge layer, right? So you can see earlier what we are doing. If you want to calculate the latency, okay, in between the IoT devices to the cloud, so IoT device will send the data to the cloud. That is nothing but T of from devices to the cloud, the IoT devices to the cloud. Second is, once the data is reached to the cloud, what cloud will do? It will do the data analysis, time required for data analysis. Then once the data is analyzed and or processed or computed, it will be again back to your IoT devices. That is called as time required from cloud to devices, right? So this is the latency. So if you can solve that thing in the fog nodes or in the fog layer, the time will be required for the IoT devices to reach to the cloud, process there and back, it can be minimized. That is one type of solution. Okay, that's why fog should be introduced in between the IoT devices and cloud. Okay, so that the latency will be reduced and bandwidth, unnecessary bandwidth consumption can be avoided. Now, this is a typical architecture you can see. We have billions of edge devices. Edge devices is nothing but you can say your IoT devices. Any IoT devices you can keep in edge level. Then we have million of nodes in the fog layer. We have thousands of data center in the cloud layer. So if you go from bottom to the top, the number of nodes are decreasing. First is billion, next million, then is thousand. Right? So what we are doing here, the devices try to compute the things in the fog layer. Okay. So although fog layer has not that much power as your data center or in the cloud layer, but it can provide some amount of power or some amount of storage or some amount of memory in which you can process your work in order to avoid the delay and in order to efficiently utilize the bandwidth. So in IoT environment, what we require, whether this fog is going to replace the cloud, so that we will call, instead of calling cloud IoT, we will say fog IoT. No, we cannot say that. We cannot replace this cloud IoT term by fog IoT term. So for IoT environment, both are important. Cloud is important, fog is important. For short term, you require fog. For long term, you require cloud. Your short term and long term refers to the amount of processing, whatever you want to do. Based on that, you have to decide which layer is going to be beneficial for you. So any intermediate processing you require, or any transient storage, okay, or if you want to keep something here which later can be stored in the cloud, so there fog will be playing an important role, right? Instead of direct storing the data in the cloud, so we can store in the fog, later we can replicate the same thing to the cloud. So these devices, whatever used in IoT, if you see, the data generated by these devices is processed in the fog layer before it is sent to the cloud. So in this way, we can go for a 3-tier architecture in order to utilize the bandwidth and in order to decrease the delay. So the idea of fog computing is to extend the cloud near to the IoT devices. As cloud cannot, like you know that in between the cloud and ground, we have a fog, right? That's why the name is suggested as fog. And the full form is from core to the edge computing. Now, if you see here, the full form of FOG, that is nothing but F stands for from. In the core, the middle letter O is selected, that is O, right? That is core. And G stands for your edge computing. That is nothing but from core to edge, right? So here it is clearly mentioned that fog is not a substitute to the cloud, but it is a complementary. Just in between the sender and receiver in computer network, you are putting a buffer. So why buffer is used? Buffer can compensate the gap between the sender and receiver. The same thing we are doing in a layer in cloud IoT, that is called as a fog layer. And our aim is to solve problems faced by cloud computing during IoT processing. So both the problems associated with the connection of cloud and IoT can be solved using this particular layer. So there is a three-tier architecture. So just I want to give an example. In the tier 1, what you have? You have IoT devices, or you can say smart devices like we have smartphone, tablet, smart card, smart vehicle, smart watch. So these are treated as the terminal node which is present in the bottommost layer, right? Which is can generate the data and can send the data to fog or IoT or to the cloud. Similarly, if you see fog layer, what we can place? The fog computing layer comprised of various network devices such as router, gateway, switch, or SS point, or various interconnection devices that you can keep in the tier number 2. So these fog nodes can collaboratively share storage and computing facilities. So it may happen that whatever nodes available in the fog, they may have overutilized or underutilized. In order to avoid that, they can collaborate each other in order to provide a unified storage and computing facility. The topmost layer, you have a data center. Data center consists of a set of servers, okay, physical servers. In each and every server, you can get some storage or computational power. So in the top layer, you have a lot of storage and computing resources. So if you see this particular diagram, you can see the number of items is less, but the power associated with the cloud is more in comparison to the fog. Okay, although the number of devices is very high in comparison to cloud or fog, but if you go the computational power and storage, cloud is always having more power in comparison to other layers. So this is the complete picture. We are making interfaces, that is fog IoT interface. Next interface is your fog cloud interface. Just we require a middleware, or you require a third party in order to compensate the gap between the cloud and IoT. That's why it is called as cloud IoT, in which we are using we are solving various problems by introducing the fog layer. The next one is, we'll see what we can do in AWS IoT Core. I told you AWS stands for Amazon Web Service. Amazon Web Service is providing IoT Core, in which you can do the processing or the storage required for IoT devices. Right? For example, if you see here, we can do various, we can manage the cloud services, various cloud services provided by AWS, okay, in which we can process the IoT information. Like you know that connected devices interact with cloud applications. Whatever devices, whatever sensors, whatever boards like Arduino toolkit, or whatever codes, whatever things you are using, devices that can be interacted with the cloud application. And it supports this IoT course. What you can do, billion of devices can be attached to this AWS IoT core, and each and every devices can share messages among each other. The number of messages they can exchange among themselves, that is called as the trillion message you can transfer. So AWS IoT core is providing billion of devices to interact, and the messaging system enables, that is called as trillion of messages. So AWS services is having a SQS, that is called as your simple queue services, which allow you to communicate between two different components, whatever used in the AWS. So you can track the devices, you can communicate the devices, you can process the things in the devices, and periodically collect the data by the help of this AWS IoT core. What are the features provided by AWS services? One is called as your AWS Lambda or Cloud Trail. So this AWS Lambda, if you need serverless computing, nowadays people are talking about serverless computing. They don't want to specify how many servers are required for their application. Rather, they are saying, as per my requirement, the server need to be increased. That is serverless. We are not going to specify the how many servers are required. Similarly, you can run your code using this AWS Lambda, okay, by managing the servers. Okay, without specifying any server, it will be deployed in the server and it will automatically expand based upon the requirement. Similarly, Cloud Trail is providing you the log information. Whenever you are going to process a data, so you are getting a log file. Such type of logs, when it is executed, in what time you are doing what work. So that can be done by the help of CloudTrail. So whatever things you are doing in your AWS account, that can be done by CloudTrail. Next one is Amazon Kinesis. Amazon Kinesis is providing you the video streaming, right? So that if you want to analyze any data or if you want to apply machine learning, you can take Amazon Kinesis. And today we are going to do Amazon S3, that you know that Amazon S3 is used for storage cloud. Next one is SageMaker. SageMaker is, you can see, the developer and data scientist. It is providing the flexibility to these people to train their model and deploy any kind of machine learning application. Okay, so each and every services by AWS services are different. Like DynamoDB is providing NoSQL services. The very popular NoSQL services used by various cloud service providers is provided by DynamoDB. Similarly, you can say QuickSight. QuickSight is providing business intelligence services. Okay, like that CloudWatch is also there, right? In CloudWatch, you can do the any kind of real streaming of data can be done by the help of CloudWatch. So by help of these services, you can do, you can gather the data, you can process the data, and you can analyze such data, so that you can generate a meaningful information, and that meaningful information can reach to a particular customer. So this is all about the AWS IoT Core. Now we'll focus on Amazon S3 and we'll conduct that 5 tasks whatever we discussed. So QuickLab was founded in 2012. So it is a platform where cloud-based platform, you can say, where you can do the experiments related to IoT, AI, ML applications. If you want to do in a particular cloud-based platform, then you can use QuickLab. QuickLab is providing hands-on lab experience, so people can do the experimentation, and a teacher can suggest the experimentation to the students as well. So generally, all the demo kind of things, you can say. Okay. So hands-on lab experience you can get from the QuickLab. You can go for your instruction leading structure, in which whatever the instructor will do in a particular lab, the same thing can be done by the students. So that's why QuickLab is providing the hands-on lab experience. And the statistics says more than 500,000 users are using QuickLab, and total spent of QuickLab is 5 million hours learning. So like we'll do a 1 hour learning of QuickLab, the same thing you can do that like 5 million hours of learning people are doing per hour, right? So I request all of you to visit this URL, that is www.quicklabs.com, and create an account. So let me share this link in the chat box. So all of you please create one account in your QuickLab. All of you visit to this particular URL as specified in the chat box, and whatever things I am doing, you have to do the same thing in your computer system. Okay, hope you have reached to this particular website, become a cloud expert with hands-on training page, right? Now you have two options, as you can see in the right corner. One is join button, another is called sign in button, right? If you have already, if you have an account, I don't think you have, right? If you have, then you can directly go to sign in option. Otherwise, you click the join option. Okay. If you have any during this step-by-step process, if you are facing any difficulties, so please write in the chat box. So while you are reaching to this particular page, you can see you can create your account by specifying your first name, last name, email, company. Company is nothing but your institute name or organization name. Give the password, password confirmation. Select that you are not a robot. Then create your account. Otherwise, what you can do, you can click this option. As you are already logged in using Google, you are using Google Meet. I hope you have signed in using your uh, Gmail account, right, or Google account. So you can directly click sign in with Google. Okay. Once you click sign in with Google, you will get the terms and condition page, right? So we will not go through details of these terms and condition. So you have to click that I am not a robot. Then simply you accept this terms and condition. Now based upon your name in your Gmail, it will automatically take and you will reach to the welcome page. Are you able to create? If you have any issue, you can write in the chat box. So I am giving 2 minutes of time. So just create an account. Those who have not created, I am telling the procedure again. You have to visit to www.quicklab.com. I have mentioned this web link in the chat box. Then go to QuickLab page. In the right corner, you have a join button or sign in button. Click the join button. After that, you can specify your information, or you can select the sign in option. Sign in using your Google account. Once you select the sign in using Google account, then you will reach to this particular page. And you have to accept the terms and condition and select you are not a robot. Then you will reach to this particular page. That is welcome followed by your name. Any issue for this up to this? How many of you have created? Please write yes in the chat box so that I will know whether you are following it or not. Only 3 reply. Okay. Now I'm getting more replies. Okay. Okay. Then what you will do, you can see in this particular page, you have 3 icons. One is your home icon. You know that in each and every web page you have a home icon. There is a catalog and there is a My Learning. So if you click My Learning, as you have newly created the account, you don't have any history. That's why it is showing a message. You don't have any history. Enroll in an instruction-led course. Instruction-led course means there is an instructor. You will be participating as a student. Like in a class, you are teaching and your students are learning. That is called an instruction-led course. Get started on a self-paced course. Self-paced course means you have to learn the subject your own. There is no instructor. Or take a short lab to get started. So once we're done with this experimentation of Amazon S3, so what you can do, you can see after that My Learning, it will show you have done one experimentation in Amazon S3. So as we have not used any experimentation in this account, so there is no history yet. Similarly, here there is a triple line is there. You can see in the left corner. If you click it, you can see the details of your account. Another 4 option is there, like profile. You can go and you can edit your information. If you want to do, like company name is mentioned as login with Google. If you want to modify, you can modify it. Okay. You can choose a avatar, that is your pet picture. Then if you can want to add, then you have to click update user. Second one, you can see credits and subscription. I told you whatever the labs available in Quick Lab, all are not free. Few labs are free, few labs are not free. So in order to use the paid lab, what you have to do, you have to buy credits or subscription. If you select the buy credit subscription, you can see it is, you have, if you want to purchase 8 credit, then per credit you have to pay $1. That's why you have to pay $8. So experiments or labs are given as some credit. Credit means that much money you have to pay. But if you go for higher credits like 40 credit, you will get 5% discount. So you will get in $38. 400 credit, you will get $360. Or you can go for unlimited also. There is an unlimited option also available. That is called as annual advance subscription. If you pay $495 or advanced subscription, that is $55 per month, then what you can do? You can do any kind of experimentations. Okay. So that is the payment you have to do if it is a paid experimentation. But Amazon S3, whatever we are discussing, Amazon S3 is completely free, so you need not worry about these credits. But you should know that what is the meaning of credit here, right? So there is the last one, that is your security feature, right? Security means you can change your password. Okay. If you want to, after doing a particular experimentation, you want to obtain your data, you can download the data. Like whenever we want to delete our, let's say, Facebook account, you can download the data associated with your Facebook account because you have lot of posts and lot of pictures you have uploaded. Okay. Or you can delete the accounts as well. Okay. If you don't want to keep an account here, you can delete it. Right. Now we'll concentrate on the catalog. Right. All of you please click catalog. All of you please go to catalog. In catalog, you can see there are 699 results are there. 699 results means you have 699 labs or experiments you can do. For example, without searching anything, you can see here, if you want to use Google Cloud Essentials, it is a 4-hour experimentation or 4-hour lab, you can say. It is introductory level. You have to pay 8 credit and it is on demand available. Right, and it is available in various languages. We require English language only. Similarly, if you see this getting started, create and manage cloud resources, it is a 5-hour experimentation, introductory level, but you have to pay 13 credit. 13 credit means $13 you have to pay in order to use 5-hour experimentations or lab. Similarly, in the right side, you have a filter where you can select, you can restrict your search query, like here it is coming 699 result. If I want to restrict, then I can make use of this filter. Let us see what are the options available in this filter. You can see in the cloud environment, you can select Google Cloud or you can go for Amazon Web Services, which is called as AWS. If you are going for AWS, then you select it. But if you don't want to go for any restriction, whether Amazon or Google, then you can go for your any cloud environment. For example, AWS, you can see total 125 results are there, right? So I'm not restricting, although we are going for Amazon Web Services, we are not going to restrict anything. Okay. Next is, it is available in any format, okay, or in the form of lab format or in the Quest format. So Quest is nothing but a series of labs organized by technology, services, use cases. Okay, you can also get some badges like some hours kind of thing, so that by getting these badges, you can do a lot of experimentation, right? You will earn credit and you can do some other experimentation. Okay, or course basis. Any format you can select. So I will generalize it to any format. You can also select what kind of experimentation you require: introductory level, fundamental level, advanced level, expert level. For example, you are already know introductory of a particular thing. You want to do some fundamental experiments or advanced labs or expert labs, you can select here. Right? Next one is you can select the duration. The duration of a lab you can select, it is at most 1 hour or 1 to 8 hour you want to do the experiment, 8 to 24 hours or at least 24 hours. Based upon that you can source, you can select your criteria. Modality I already told you, that is on demand or instruction led, or I told you a self-paced course also you can select here. And quick lab is also available in various languages, but we are not habituated with other languages, so we'll go for English language. Now you can search here the S3. S3 stands for simple storage service. So I am writing simple storage. Once you write simple storage, it is coming automatically. It is coming. It is matched with introduction to Amazon simple storage service. So all of you please write in the search bar simple storage. So automatically it will display introduction to Amazon simple storage service. So I am clicking Amazon S3 and pressing enter. So you can see here, it is a hands-on lab. Okay, you can do it, right? The rating is 4.5 out of 5. It is a 1 hour experiment and it is up to introductory level, and it is completely free, available in various languages like English and some other language, right? So all of you please click to introduction to Amazon simple storage service. Okay. Now you have reached to this particular page, introduction to Amazon simple storage service, in which we have to do these 5 experiments. The step-by-step process is also mentioned here. In my slide also I have taken the snapshots. So in the later point of time, if you want to do any experimentation, you can also do, right? The first experiment, as I mentioned, that is you have to create a bucket. Second is you have to upload an object to the bucket. Third one, you have to make an object public. Fourth one, you have to create a bucket policy. Fifth one, we have to explore versioning part. So see why AWS is very famous. Why AWS is very famous? Come to the overview. You can see here in the last line, very last line, it is written Amazon S3 is designed for 99.99. Total 9 is 11 nines of durability. Like you know that if a durability, availability or reliability of a system is close to 100%, that means that system is available 24/7, or that system is providing the service 24/7. So you can see total number of nines are 11 number of lines are there. After decimal point it is 9 nines. So that much durability is achieved by Amazon S3. That's why all the organizations, companies, they are storing the data in Amazon S3 only. Okay. Similarly, if you see what kind of things you can do here. So here it is saying customer of all sizes and industries can use it to store and protect any amount of data for a range of use cases such as websites, mobile application, backup and restore, archive, enterprise application, IoT devices, and big data analytics. You can use Amazon S3. Okay, irrespective of these use cases, okay, you can use a common platform for all the use cases. That is your Amazon S3. That's why it is much more popular, right? So next, you can see here there is a start lab button. So we'll start the lab. Once we'll start the lab, this lab will continue maximum up to 1 hour. So we are going to use a 1 hour resources of Amazon S3, right? And you can go through, if you want, you can go through these tasks. Detailed step-by-step processes are there. You can follow. The same thing I will also illustrate. So if anybody is interested, they can also, later point of time, they can also go through this documentation. So now all of you will click the start lab. Now I'm partitioning the screen into two parts. So I will do the experiment here, right? And if you have any doubt, okay, while doing experimentation, you write in the chat box so that I can see the chat box as well. So let me expand up to this one. So chat box is now visible, right? So all of you, please click the start lab. I hope you are seeing the start lab button. You have the start lab button. So I am clicking the start lab and I am selecting I am not a robot. So it will take 1 minute of time to open a console where we can do the experimentation. So my lab is started. I hope you have already you have also clicked the start lab button. So all of you, please click the start lab button if you have not clicked, and wait for 1 minute until unless the console button appear here. So it is now provisioning the lab resources. So it will take maximum 1 minute of time to create the console. Okay, now you can see here there is a open console button is coming. I have clicked the start lab, then after 1 minute or around 1 minute open console is coming. Now I'm clicking open console. So once you click open console, you can see here it will show some region in which it is going to provision some resources to you. So you can see the region is specified as US West 2. Amazon has a set of region, right? Like Asia Pacific is a region, US West 2 is a region, US East is a region. So they are provisioning the resources in US West 2 region. Then you will reach to AWS Management Console. I hope you have reached to AWS Management Console. Please write in the chat box so that I will know that whether you are following this hands-on or not. Have you started your lab? Anybody respond? Then are you getting this open console button?
Sir, please wait 1 second, sir.
Yes, I'll wait, don't worry. Just I am repeating the step. You have to click the start lab, then wait for 1 minute, around 1 minute, then open console will appear. After open console will appear, you click the open console. So a resource will be provisioned by AWS in a particular region. Generally, they are providing free resources in US-West-2 region. Yes, Hemant Modi sir, you check whether you have reached to this AWS Management Console or not. Okay, after clicking the open console, right? Okay, so you can see in the top part.
Here, what? Excuse me. Here, what is written? AWS student @ 30130866
Yes,
5958.
it is a student account, sir. It is a free account they are giving in the as a student, right? That's why it is AWS student. Don't worry about this thing. There is nothing with this ID, right?
Okay, okay.
So in the left corner, you can see there is a services. Okay, services. If you click the services, let us see what are the services provided by AWS. We discussed many services. I told you about Lambda. Okay, AWS Lambda. I told you about Amazon EC2, that is a elastic compute cloud. Similarly, you can see other services like S3 we are going to do today. Some other services like I told you about CloudWatch, CloudTrail, okay, and many more services are also there, right? So you can explore the services, but in this free account, as you have created Amazon S3 instances, okay, so you can do the experiment using Amazon S3. Similarly, you can see IoT experiments like IoT Core, FreeRTOS, IoT One-Click Analytics, Device Defender, Device Management, Events, Greengrass, Sitewise. Each and every experiment's manual is there, but all are not free, right? These services also you can use by the help of Amazon Web Services, right? So I am clicking S3. After clicking the services, you can get the list. Then I am clicking S3 because we are restricted to S3 in this particular login. So I have clicked S3. All of you please click S3. You go to your services, then you will find S3. Okay, then you click the S3. So I hope you have reached to this particular page in which it is showing one or two buckets. It varies with respect to your login, right? Two buckets, and that is deployed in two different regions. Have you reached to this particular page?
Can you
Okay.
repeat once again?
Sir, I have clicked to the service. Okay, in services under storage, as I can store IoT applications or IoT data generations or big data. Okay, anything in S3. So I have clicked S3. Once I click S3, I have reached to a particular page where there is two different buckets and they are under two different regions. Just two click you have to do. One is service, then under storage S3 is there. You have to click S3. Then you will reach to this particular page. Is it okay? Are you able to see this particular page? You may have one bucket, one region. You may have one bucket, one region. In my case, it is two bucket and two regions. Is it okay? Any doubt or any problem? Have you reached to this particular page? Yes, okay. So you can see this
It's
is the
taking
next.
some time.
It will take some time. It purely depends upon your internet speed, right? It will take a little bit of time. Okay, I will be here only. Don't worry. I will tell the.
We are getting two buckets.
Yes, two buckets. It varies with respect to two bucket or one bucket. It varies, right? With respect to the account. So you can see there is a US West region, US East region. Okay. Similarly, our region is called Asia Pacific region, FPAC. Last talk also I told you FPAC region while discussing IoT in agriculture. So these are the bucket name. Bucket means these are nothing but the virtual machines. Okay. On inside this virtual machine, we can do some kind of computation or some kind of storage. Okay. So I want to create my own bucket. Why these buckets are there? So while you are creating the bucket, you may not be familiar with the configuration of the bucket. That's why you have to copy the configurations of the bucket which are already exist. That's why Amazon S3 is providing you some predefined bucket. Just like two buckets they are specified, I can copy the configuration of any of the bucket. So in order to create the bucket, the first experiment is we have to create the bucket. What we have to do? We have to click create bucket. So all of you please click create bucket. So here you have to specify in the step 1, you have to specify the bucket name. Bucket name should be unique. As you are using a live experimentation, this is a live experimentation. You are not doing any kind of simulation kind of thing. It is purely computation. Really, the bucket is created in Amazon data center. So you have to suggest some bucket name which is unique. For example, let me write my name. All of you write your first name followed by your mobile number. Let my number is 98611269747. I have written. I hope nobody has created a bucket with this name. Once I will create a bucket in this name, if you will try this name, you will not get the bucket in this particular name. So you whatever name you want to give, you give. There is no problem, but make sure that that name should be a unique name. Okay, and it should be start with small letter. There is some restriction is there how to create the bucket. So I hope you have selected a name. So you can partition your screen into two parts. One part you keep my screen. Another part you do your work in a browser. Then you can see this bucket, they will provide in US West region. Don't change this region because it purely depends upon the data center. You can select to see what are the regions available. You can see Africa region is there, Asia Pacific Mumbai region is there, Asia Pacific Singapore region is there, Asia Pacific Sydney, Tokyo. So many regions are there, right? But we will go for the default one, that is US West region. In that data center, I want to create a virtual machine or I want to create a bucket. Next, the third option, I have selected the bucket name and region. Third option, I have to copy the setting of an existing bucket. I told you that configuring a particular virtual machine or bucket, there are a lot of templates are there. Like whenever a student is preparing a project file, right, BTech project, MTech or PhD project, what the student is asking to his senior, please give me a template or give your report so that I will know what kind of things I can write. The same thing we are doing here. Without going for our own configuration, because we do not know the technical difficulties or technical points, right? So what we are doing, we are copying the settings of already existed bucket. So all of you please select one bucket from here. Let me select this US West 2 template. Okay, so I have selected the first one, US West 2. So three things you have to fill here. One is your bucket name should be unique one. Region, don't change it, right? Whatever region is there, let it be. And you have to copy your settings from an existing bucket. Then you go to the next button. In the next button, it is asking about the versioning. Don't select this one. I will come later for this concept, that is versioning, right? So that you can explore what is the difference of without versioning and with versioning, right? Go to next. Okay, so here is my bucket is still now not configured. I have to select this one. That means nobody can access my bucket. That's why I'm saying block all public access. You have to check it. By default, it is on check mode. So you have to check it. But the meaning of this check is block all public access. Till now, I have not configured my bucket. I have not added any object to my bucket. That's why I have blocked all public access. Then click next. Here you will get the review details, what your bucket name, your region, you have copied some setting, versioning we have not enabled, later point of time I will enable it, and I have blocked all public access, that is all. Then I will place create bucket. So it will create a bucket in my name followed by my mobile number. So I am giving you 2-3 minutes time so that those who have not created, please create it. And those who have created, you write in the chat box, we have created. Yes, Amit Panidai sir has created. Rasmi Ranjan Mahapatra sir also created. Arunima Hota madam also created. Utkalika sir is in the configure option, we have to enable versioning. No. Initially it is not enabled. Keep it disabled only. Right? Don't click anywhere. I'll tell you what is with versioning, what is without versioning. If you click, then you will not find the difference. Tapaswini madam also created. Hemant Modi sir created. Seher Ali Khan sir has created. Satya Patnaik sir also created. Okay. So you can see here now. Earlier it is 2 bucket 2 region. Now it is 3 bucket, which is deployed in 2 different region. One is your US West 2 region. Okay, another is US East region. Right. My bucket name is there, and it is showing bucket and object are not public, right? Because we have not configured, so it is not public, and it is created at this particular time. Time is showing in the GMT, not in Indian Standard Time. Okay, Gyan Ranjan Panda sir and Pinaki Bhushan Naik sir also created. Okay, now all of you please click to your bucket. Okay, first work is done. we have created the bucket, right? Now I have clicked to my bucket name. My bucket name is my name followed by my mobile number. So I have created the bucket. Okay, then I click the bucket name. Then you will reach to a particular page like this, where it is showing a bucket, but the bucket don't have any object. The bucket inside the bucket is empty, you can say, right? So you have to upload a bucket into this. Sorry, you have to upload an object into this bucket. So I request all of you to upload an object. So in order to upload, you have to click the upload button. Once you click the upload button, it is saying you can do the drag and drop basis. You can drag any image. So let us do a uniform one. I want to upload a image into this bucket, right? So I can drag and drop a image here, or I have to click the and I have to give a specified path so that the object will be created here. For example, I want to add a agriculture picture. You can see here. This agriculture picture is there in my desktop. Any picture you can upload your passport size photo also. There is no problem. Any information you want to give to public. It is not restricted to agriculture sector, not restricted to medical sector. Anything you want to give to your client. Client may be your farmer, client may be your patient. That image, if you want to share, then that image you have to select. Those who don't have an image, you can go to picture. In your picture, there is some sample picture is there. You can select any sample picture and upload it. So this picture is now treated as your object. So as I want to restrict to agriculture domain, just I want to share a agriculture picture. So I am going to open it. Now this farming.jpg file is uploaded to the bucket. Once is uploaded, I will go to the next button. I will later point of time, I will set the permission. Okay. Properties, I will go for the standard properties. I have reviewed, right, whatever things I have selected. The size of the file is also mentioned here. Then I will click upload button. Now you can say the file which I want to upload will be available here. That is nothing but farming.jpg. Any file you want to upload, any image file, you upload inside the bucket. While I am referring this farming.jpg, you should refer to your file, your image file. Are you able to upload a object into the bucket? Like I have uploaded farming.jpg inside my bucket, my name followed by mobile number. Yes, from Gyan Ranjan Panda sir. Amit Panide sir also uploaded a unicorn image. It's only image file and any other file. Satya Patnaik sir, you can upload any file, but for a common illustration, I request you to upload an image file. Later point of time, we will upload a text file. Yes, Hemant Modi sir also uploaded a PNG file. Any extension is okay, sir. There is no problem with PNG file. There is no problem with JPG file. Okay. Now, many people have uploaded. Pinaki Bhushan sir also. Okay. Now you can click this farming.jpg. Whatever name you have given. So whenever I am telling farming.jpg, you refer to your file name, right? So I am clicking this farming.jpg. So it is saying the owner of this file is AWS06131. So that is a unique ID is created. Last modified here. A tag is attached to that particular file. Storage class is standard one. Server side encryption is not there. Size is 24.8 KB. key is farming.jpg and a URL is given here. By giving this URL, anybody can access to your object. For example, I want to give this link to a farmer, then farmer can see whatever things, whatever image I want to give to the farmer regarding farming, right? Various step-by-step process of farming. That thing I can share with farmer. But while you are browsing this URL, or when you click this URL, it will open in another tab. You will see that you are getting one error. Oh, sorry, it is opening in the same page. So let me open in another page. So I have copied the URL, or you can right click, open in a new tab. Open in a new tab. So you are getting one error here. This saying this XML file does not appear to have any style information associated with it. The documentary is shown below. Why it is so? Why it is so? Why you are getting an error? The reason of this error is that you have blocked all public access. I told you to block all public access because at that time you have not created any bucket and you have not uploaded any object into the bucket. That's why you are getting one error. Is it clear why you are getting an error? You have not configured the bucket, right? Bucket is not configured at that time. And inside the bucket, whatever object you want to do, like object is here, your image file, right? Or a .jpg file or .png file, that is farming.jpg, that file also you have not uploaded. That's why, and this entire access is given as private, or we have blocked the public access. That's why you are unable to view this particular object. Is it clear why it is showing error? Okay. Now, how we are going to assess? That is very much important, right? So see here, this is your home, right? Assume that this is your home. Inside your home, you have a almirah, right? For example, I will open the almirah, right? So that anybody who is inside the home can access whatever things available in a almirah, right? Or in somewhere, you have opened it so that anybody can see what is there inside. So if an outside person is there, whether that outside person can access to your private things, what is available in your home? No, right? Because the person need to enter into your home, then only this thing is open, so that he can see the details, or he can take something, or he can see the details about the things available in a particular almirah, right? So you have to do two things. One is you have to make this bucket. This one is your bucket. Bucket should be public one, okay, and the object inside the bucket should be the public one. Then only a outsider person can enter to the bucket and can see the content of an object, right? Otherwise it is not possible, right? If I make my home, everything is open, but there is a lock in my home, nobody can enter my home, right? The same thing we'll do here. So all of you, what you will do, you go to your bucket, right? You click in the top, you can see Amazon S3, your bucket name followed by your object. Okay, go to your bucket. In bucket, you can see there is a permission tab. Are you able to see this permission tab? Go to this permission tab. Inside permission tab, under block public access, you have to edit it and you have to make it enable. What you have to do? You have to go to your bucket. You are in the overview tab. Come to your permission tab. Click block public access. Okay, by default it is block public access. Come down. Here there is a check button. You have to uncheck it. and save the configuration and write confirm. Now it is saying public access setting updated successfully. Any doubt up to this? How many of you have completed? So I am giving 2-minute time. You please complete.
Can you repeat, sir? Once again.
Yes, sure, sir. So I told you in the top part you can see Amazon S3 is there. So once you click your bucket, it will show Amazon S3, your bucket name. Once you click your object, this is the just like you are creating a directory, subdirectory kind of things. Go to your bucket name, click the bucket name. You are available in the overview tab where your object is listed. Go to the permission tab. Under permission tab, you are by default in block public access. You have to edit this block all public access. It is already checked because while you are creating the bucket, we have checked it. You have to uncheck it so that public can access and save it. Once you save it, it will ask you to write confirm. So I have written confirm. So once you confirm, it will show that public access is allowed. Setting updated successfully. Hemant Modi sir, Ravikant sir, LK Sahu sir, completed. Okay, very good. Let us wait for others for 1 minute, then we will continue. Because we have how many minutes left, that also we have to see. We have 33 minutes, 48 seconds left. Within that, we have to complete all experiments. So, Abhinay Panda sir completed.
It is rotating only.
Sir?
And on unexpected error occurred, like that is showing.
Then you again, sir, click here. You start the process again. You are in the overview tab. You go to your permission tab. Okay. Then you
yes.
edit here. If you are getting any error, you repeat the process because if all people whenever I conduct this experiment with my student, then what happened? In a single point, 60-70 people are using AWS instances. That's why the instance will be slower.
So now it is open. Now it is open.
Okay. So you go to your permission tab, sir, and click edit. Uncheck the block all public spaces and save it. Write CONFIRN. Confirm it so that it is available in the public access mode. Okay,
Thank
you do. I will tell one small theory here.
Thank you. Thank
Now
you.
what happened? Now this bucket is public, right? What we made, this bucket is public. Means any public can enter to your home. But assume that your almirah is locked. Almirah is locked. Whether this person who is an outsider can access to your almirah? No. Right? It is not possible. It is possible only if it is open. If it is open, then only that person can take something from that almirah. So what you have to make, what you have to do, you have to make this object as public as well. This object should be available as public. Then only anybody can access to your bucket as well as the object inside the bucket. Right? So what we'll do here, go to your overview. You can refresh here also. If you refresh the same object, still you are getting error. The reason of this error is bucket is public, object is not public, right? Come to your object, click on your object. In the top part, you can see Amazon S3, bucket name, object name. So don't confuse with these words, bucket and object. Object is nothing but your water, which is there inside a bucket. Okay? Bucket, inside that you have object. Don't be confused. Bucket is my name followed by mobile number. Object is nothing but farming.jpg, whatever I have uploaded. Then what I will do is there is a permission tab, like there is a permission tab in bucket. Similarly, there is a permission tab in object as well. So go to the permission tab, go to the bottom, you select everyone. Once you select everyone, it is asking what kind of permission you want to give. I am saying read permission is allowed. Read permission is allowed. Then only read permission I am giving. Okay. Then I am saving this configuration. I am repeating the step. Go to your bucket. Inside the bucket, you have an object. Object. Click the object. You are present in the overview tab. Go to your permission tab. Go to your bottom. Click everyone. Select read object and read object permission and save it. I hope you have completed up to this. Then what you will do? You again go to the overview tab, copy the URL or open in a new tab. I have already opened. If you have not done, you copy this URL, paste in a new tab, or you can right click and open the image in a new tab. Amit Panigra sir told that we can see the image, but let us see what will happen in my case. Now that image is available, you can see your image, there is no problem. But I will share my link. You check whether you can access my link or not. That is very much important. I am sharing. You can also share your link here so that other people can see that what kind of image you have uploaded in Amazon S3. So all of you access to the link, whatever I have said, you can also share so that 2-3 images I will show here that I can access to your image. So this unicorn.jpg image is shared by Amit Panigrai sir. Just I am opening that one. See what kind of image he has uploaded. So he has uploaded this image. As an outsider, I am able to see his image because his bucket is public as well as his object is public. Similarly, Utkalika Satpathy madam has also said, let me show what kind of image is there. That is a computer wallpaper. The dream is free, the hustle is sold separately, right? This image is uploaded. Another link is shared by Tapaswini Das madam. So let me share what kind of image uploaded. So this is a leafy q2.png image. So you can access it. Okay, I hope up to this it is clear. So we did two parts. We have left with another 25 minutes, right? 27 minutes, yes. So we have created the object. First experiment is done. Second is we have uploaded an object and make it public. Now I request all of you to create a text file. Create a text file. You right click in your desktop, new, create a text document. All of you please create a text document. Right click in your desktop, click new, click on text document and rename that file as message. Rename that file as message. I'm writing the file name is message. And what kind of message you have to write in that file, I am telling you. So there is assume that there is a severe cyclone, okay, and you want to give a message that keep the animals and birds, okay, in safe place. You want to give this message to all the people, right? That keep the animals and the birds in safe place. So you keep the message inside the text file, save it and close it. Are you able to create the text file and upload some content in the text file? Anybody completed? You have to
Sir,
create a text file.
sir, can you repeat that exactly that was completed? Some actual net problem. So can you repeat that
Which one, sir?
page?
Which one?
Last next one that JPG to show.
Okay. Yes. Sir, you have to first make your bucket as public. In order to make bucket as public, you go to the permission tab. Okay. Once you select your bucket, you are in the overview tab where you can see a list of bucket. Go to your permission tab. In the permission tab, there is a edit button. Okay, under block public access. So you have to edit it.
That
Okay.
that I that
Then
already I have done.
okay. After that, what you have to do, you have to go inside your object. Inside your object also you have a permission tab. You have to click everyone. Okay, in the bottom you have everyone, right? Yes. You have to click everyone. Once you click everyone, what kind of permission you want to give? You select read object permission, and save it. So once you save it, if you open the object URL, which is given in the overview tab, you can see your image, or you can share in the chat box so that other people can see your image.
Okay, thank you, thank
Then
you.
I told you, to create a text file. The text file name should be message. Okay, and in that text file you keep this message, that is keep the animal and poultry birds in safe places, right? And all of you please upload this text file as an object. So let me repeat the step again. The same thing. Those who have not followed the previously, they can follow now. Okay, I want to now upload a text file. So I'm available in my bucket. So I want to upload this text file, which is available in my desktop. Upload your text file, that is your message. What kind of message you have? Keep the animal and this poultry bird in safe place. You open it, click next, click next, click next, upload it. Now two objects are there inside a bucket. It is uploading the second object, that is message.txt file is uploaded, right? Click message.txt file, you will get a different URL, right? If you open this URL, you will get again error. I hope you will get an error. Yes, because the bucket is public, but the object is not public. So what you can do, you will repeat this process. You go to the permission tab, click everyone. All of you know, those who know, you continue the process. You click the everyone, select read object, then read object permission, save it, refresh the URL. I hope now it will work. Yes, I'm getting the message. Keep the animal and the bird in safe place. Jandan Konda sir also shared one image file. Let me see. The same process, whatever we're doing, is our workshop image file, right? We upload it. The same process you have to follow to upload a text file. Previously, you have uploaded an image file. Here, you have uploaded a text file. Okay. I hope you have uploaded the text file and you are able to see what is the content in the file. You different then see. This object is also public, so you can see it. Okay. Then what we will do? Next step. Next is, let me tell you what is the purpose of versioning, right? What is the purpose of versioning? Go to go to go to your bucket. Then there is a properties tab, right? There is a properties tab. Click the properties tab. In the very first part, you can see there is something written as versioning, right? And it is disabled. I told you while you are creating the bucket, initially keep it disabled, then we will enable it so that you will know what is the advantages of versioning. So I am clicking here in order to enable it. So while I am clicking, it is showing by default it is suspend versioning. So I want to enable the versioning now and save it. After that, you can see it enabled. Previously is like disabled, but now it is enabled. Are you following me?
Yes, yes.
Are you following me? Okay. Little bit fast, please. And we have to complete next 19 minutes. Yes, Gyan Panda sir also said the is a text file. If it is a different content, we are going to see a different content here. Is uploaded the same content as I told. Okay, so the same content I am able to give. Ali Khan sir also said the content. I hope the same content will get. He has written some different content, so I am getting the different content here, right? So all of you please move to the versioning because we have less minute, 20 minutes left. So all of you click to your bucket. You are in the overview tab. Next to overview tab, you have properties tab. In properties tab, the versioning is disabled. You have to click it, then enable versioning and save it. So the versioning is now enabled. What I have to do here now, okay? You go to your message file. You go to your message file. In message file, just I want to add another sentence. Any sentence you can add, there is no problem. Okay, so I am adding another message that is due to cyclone. So I already gave one message that is keep the animal and the poultry birds in safe place. Now I want to add another sentence that is postpone harvesting and keep the harvested product, if any, in safe place. So this message I want to give from a government side. So in that message file, I have added another content. You can enter any comment. Okay, just I have added another sentence, and the file name is same. That is a message. You have taken X file means you have to save in that X file only. Right now, you upload this text file. Please upload this text file. How to upload? You know, right? Inside you have to go to your bucket. Inside the bucket, you have a list of object. I am clicking the upload. I am uploading the same file, but the content is changed. Don't take other file. Take the same name file, message file, but I have added another sentence. I have opened it. I click next, upload. Now I have 3 objects. If you see, that is 3 objects, but it will show only 2 objects. Because what is the reason? The second object name and third object name is same. Right? Second object name is a single sentence. Third object name is we have added another sentence with the same name. That's why it is showing it is 2 objects. How to know whether third object is exist or not? You can click this message.txt. In the top part, it is showing it is a latest version. Whatever you are going to see, that is a latest version. And you can see there is 2 different versions are available. One is uploaded at 10:23 AM. Another is uploaded at 10:29 AM. Okay. Now I will refresh this text file page. It is showing again error, right? It is showing an error because you have uploaded a file, but that file is not public. So let us make it public. Go to the permission tab, click everyone, select read object and read object permission, click save and refresh the URL. Which message you are getting? You are getting the updated message, not the old message. That is the reason and that is the advantages of versioning. You are not getting the old message. With the same URL, you are getting an updated message. Amit Panigrai sir has also said the link. Let me see what message he has written. The same message he has written in 2 different lines, right? So with the same link, if you whatever you think you will change, you should not send a fresh link to the client or to the farmer or to the patient. What you can do, the same link will be get refreshed. So versioning will merge to similar object. No, it is not merging that object. What it is doing, it is creating different version 1 and version 2. By default, it is keeping the latest version, right? By default, it is keeping the latest version, whatever you have uploaded. If you want to see the old version, that is also possible. How you can do it? How you can do it? Go to your bucket, then click the message. You can see here, you can select the old object. If you select the old object, now you can see your old message. The old message is keep the animal and poultry bird in safe places, right? So it is your old message is coming. But by default, if you have not changed anything, it will show your latest message. Okay. So by versioning, we can choose which file to use while keeping the track of updated data. Exactly. Okay. So let me keep the new version only, right? Because I want to show you some other things. Go to your bucket, right? You can see here while it is showing the list of bucket, right? It is showing the list of bucket, right? And here you can see there is a hide and show button. This button is not there before you have enabled versioning. So by default, it is in the hide mode. So I want to go to show mode. If you go to the show mode, then you can see different version of the same file. And the file whatever you have uploaded before versioning is represented with null ID. You can see farming and message.txt is represented in the form of null version ID. But after enabling the version, I have uploaded the message.txt file. That's why a version is coming here. Right? Satya Patnaik sir is showing he is getting error. Sir, you have to make the message.txt file public. If you have not made it public, then the error will come. You have to make it public. Go to permission tab, click everyone, select read object and read object permission. Now click the link, you will get the message.txt content. Okay. So I hope you understood this one, right? A version ID is created, but version ID is null in other case. Right? Now click again hide button. So assume that while I am doing some operation, I have deleted this message.txt. Let I am doing some work. By mistake, I have deleted this message.txt file. You can right click delete, or you can say in the action tab also delete button is there. So I have deleted it. by mistake this object is deleted. So you can see here, I have only one object inside the bucket. Earlier, I have two different objects inside the bucket, but now I have only one object inside the bucket, right? So how I can retrieve it? In order to retrieve it, what you can do? You can again go to the show button. In show button, you will see the set of files, right? Here you can get the set of files, and if I maximize it, you can see whatever file you have deleted, that is marked as a delete marker. You can see initially you have uploaded the message.txt file, the ID is null, then you have created versioning, then you have created the versioning here, that's why version ID is showing. Then by mistake you have deleted this message.txt file, so it is available in this show directory, and this is marked as a delete marker. So AWS is not going to, or Amazon S3 is not going to delete your object immediately, because it happens that that delete is done by mistake. So in order to retrieve the data, what you can do, you have to select this delete marker, go to Action tab, delete it. So once you delete it, you click the delete marker, go to Action tab, click delete it. If you hide this tab, now you are able to retrieve your object. So that is the advantages of versioning as well as the retrieval process of Amazon S3. If you have deleted your object, by the help of this hide and show button, you can retrieve your data. Now this message.txt file is available. Any doubt on this? Please write in the chat box. We have 8 minutes left. So quickly I will tell you the last experiment which I committed to you, that we'll discuss 5 experiments. So we have completed with these tracks: create a bucket, add an object to your bucket, create a bucket policy that will do, and you know how to manage the permission on the object and bucket versioning. Any doubt, please tell me, because bucket versioning will take a few minutes. Any doubt, any difficulties you are facing with this 4th task? So when we delete the record, we can get the file back. Yes, it is possible. That is the advantages. Okay. Now I will go for the last experiment, last task of Amazon S3. You go to your bucket, whatever file you have created, bucket you have created. Okay. Inside the bucket, you have a properties tab, you have a permission tab. Go to your permission tab. In the permission tab, where you are selecting your block public access, you have changed edit to public. Here there is a bucket policy. Okay, so this bucket policy use JSON based access policy language to manage advanced permission to your Amazon S3 resources. You can select the bucket policy. Once you select the bucket policy, you can see the bucket policy is empty. Okay, are you following? Are you getting this bucket policy empty? Can anybody respond in the chat box? You have to go to your permission tab. By default, you are in the block public access. You have to click the bucket policy. The bucket policy is now empty. On top of this policy, this editor, you can see it is written as bucket policy editor. There is a ARN number. ARN is called as Amazon resource number. What is the number? Small ARN colon AWS colon S3 3 colon my name followed by my mobile number, which is my bucket name. You have to save it. So I am saving it. I am keeping it another tab. I am keeping it another tab because this information I will require. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll come to the bottom. Here I will go for policy generator. So all of you please click policy generator. Go to your policy generator. It will give a portal where you can generate the policy. So quickly do, because we have left with only 5 minutes. So here I am selecting the policy as S3 bucket policy. By default it is simple queue service queue policy, and some other policies are also there like IM policy and SNS topic policy, VPC endpoint policy. Different policies are there, but we are dealing with S3 bucket policy. I have selected S3 bucket policy. Then effect is allowed. In the principal I am writing star. So star is means in a general one, right? Principal star means it is a general one. Then what I'll do, I'll go for action. In action, I want to set a set of actions. So I want to set a very simple action that is called as get object. So I am selecting get object, right? I have done 3 things, just I am telling you. The select type of policy, I have selected S3 bucket policy. Effect is allowed by default. Principal is I have selected star. Action I have selected only one action, that is get object. Means you are able to access the object. Here it is asking what is your Amazon resource number. That's why I told you you keep this Amazon resource number starting with small letter ARN. That ARN I want to keep paste here, followed by a forward slash and the principal star. That is the key name. Don't do mistake here. You have to keep your ARN number, not my ARN number. Your ARN number is available here, starting from ARN, ending with your bucket number, right? Okay, that I am keeping, followed by a forward slash and the key name is star. Then I will click add statement. So now the policy is created. Okay, after getting add statement, you can get here that you have added the following statement. Then I will click generate policy. So it has created the generate policy. One code is generated. Because we cannot write the code which is applicable for Amazon S3 because we do not know the internal details. That's why it is giving a portal kind of things where you can generate your policy. So I am copying this policy, okay, and pasting it in the bucket policy editor, and I will save it. Right? All of you have followed this procedure. I am repeating the procedure again.
Sir, policy number, what
S3.
will be the, okay, what will, in principle, what will write in principle?
Star, sir. Star indicate it is applicable for all. So you have to write star here. You have to select S3 bucket policy. In the get object, I want to get the object details. That's why I have selected get object. Similarly, you can select other actions or you can explore. Here I am writing the ARN number. Sorry, my ARN number is I am keeping here. It is starting from ARN, ending with your bucket name, followed by a forward slash, not backward slash. Forward slash is written here, and my key name or principal is star. Then I am clicking add statement. It is creating another add statement. Then generate policy. This 2 times created the policy, but you have to keep only 1 time and copy the code, paste in your policy editor, save it. In this way, you can create the bucket policy. So this is an alternative to set the permission. Whatever permission you are fixing, okay, you are keeping the permissions, right? So the permission you are keeping, right? The same thing can be done in this way as well, right? In this way also you can do the bucket policy, right? So the time is very less. What I'll do, I want to destroy my object. I want to destroy my bucket. So I'm going to my bucket. I'm clicking the delete button. Here you can say there is a delete button. In order to delete this bucket, I have to write my name, my bucket name. My bucket name is my name followed by my mobile number. Then I'm clicking confirm. Now my bucket is deleted. Or my time is over. Okay, time is over now. Yes, bucket is also deleted. Similarly, I want to also destroy this object, this bucket. So what I will do, I will click here, click the delete button, and here you can find your bucket number. That bucket number you can paste here and confirm it. Yes, my bucket is deleted. Another bucket is there. I want to delete it. So I am clicking the delete button. I am specifying the bucket name. Clicking confirm. Now all the predefined bucket template as well as my bucket is deleted from Amazon S3. Now, okay, I'm giving a, let's say 5 out of 5 rating, and some comment whatever you want to give, how you like QuickLab you can write. Okay. Now you can again start the lab and do the experimentation, right? In a later point of time, there is no problem, it is completely free. Okay. But at a time you will get only 1 hour.
Sir, can you share once again deleting?
So deleting is you have to select your bucket name. You have to select your bucket here, and here there is a delete button. You have to click your delete, then you have to specify your bucket name. Like my bucket name is my name followed by my mobile number. That bucket name I have to enter in order to delete my bucket. If you will not delete the bucket also, there is no issue, don't worry. Okay, so if I go to my learning, you can see in the my learning part, I told you previously it is empty. So now it is saying I have completed one lab. Yep. That is introduction to Amazon S3 in the completed labs. Okay, this is all about Amazon S3. Any kind of data you can upload in Amazon S3. It is providing you the storage things, and you can do a lot of experimentation. It is not limited to IoT. It can be generalized to cloud domain. It can be generalized to big data domain as well. Right? So this is all from my side. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask. We have next 11 minutes left. So Rabinarayan Panda sir asked one question that why do you want to delete it? Sir, because this is not permanent, right? Whatever we are doing, this is for only for 1 hour. So I don't want to keep my information in cloud, right? That is the reason I have deleted it. If you have not deleted also, it will be automatically deleted. There is no issue. If after creating, if we do not delete, do you have any problem? There is no problem, absolutely. I have deleted because that is not permanent. If I have a subscription based services, if I paid for that particular service, or if I am regularly using Amazon S3, I have to keep my bucket live. Otherwise, information whatever I have said through a image, through a video, through a audio, through a text file, or through a PDF file will not be shown to my client. That is the reason you have to delete. Okay, otherwise you keep it. If you have a licensed one, okay, subscribed one, then you will continue with Amazon S3. There is no problem. Any other questions you can ask? I request all of you to please explore QuickLab and introduce your student about QuickLab, because it is a very interesting experimentations. you can do, your student can also do the quick lab, and you can learn about IoT, AI, ML, and cloud experimentation, so that people will get in touch what is going inside, how the data is uploaded, how to make public, how we are going to process it, how we can compute it, right? These things will be clear to everyone, right? Any other question if you want to ask, please write in the chat box.
So I think that all are clear, all the doubts are clear. So I would like to thank Dr. Sanjay Kumar Panda for such a nice and wonderful session today. I hope all the participants are enjoyed the session and also learn. And I expect they will implement same by their own. Uh, and I also thank you to the participants also. They have also shown their interest while executing this, and it is such a interactive session. And again, I will thank Dr. Sanjay Panda for this nice session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.